Hi, hello, welcome back to my YouTube channel. In the previous videos, we have discussed with the second chapter of chemistry, acid, bases and salts, the very important aspects, the points which you have to remember for your examination. So now we'll go with the next chapter of chemistry, metals and non-metals. So the very important concepts what you have to learn and practice for your exams. Okay. So we'll move with that, metals and non-metals. The physical state. So the physical states you have to practice here. You have to know the concept of physical state of metals. So physical states means generally we know that metals are solid at room temperature. Some of them they are liquid and solid and liquid. Example, some exceptions is given here. Within the exceptions like mercury and gallium. So metals are generally solid at room temperature. Exceptions is mercury and gallium. And the liquid metals, so they are liquid at room temperatures. Which are liquid at room temperatures means mercury and gallium are liquid at room temperature. So then the first property of metal, the physical state. Generally metals are solid at room temperature except mercury and gallium. So mercury and gallium are liquid at room temperature. Then next is luster property. Luster means shining property. So the metals have a shining property. So they reflects the light by their surfaces. This we call it as luster property. Okay. The property of the metals which can be due to the polished metal surfaces. For example, gold, silver. So they all shine. So they reflect the light from their surfaces. The property we call it as luster. So the one more property is luster property. The next, malleability. So this malleability concept, they may ask you specifically what is malleable or what is malleability or define malleability. Metals may be formed into thin sheets known as foils. So how they can be made it into foils means by hammering. So the property of the metal which can be beaten into thin sheets, we call it as malleability. So you can beat the metal and make it into a very thin sheets. So that is called as malleability. Okay. In that an exception is there, that is zinc. So zinc if you beat, they cannot be made it into thin sheets. So they are fragile so that you cannot beat them. So the next property is ductility. So we'll see what is ductility. Metals, they can be made out of, so generally exception like zinc, they cannot be malleable. Okay. So the next, it is ductility. When the metals are drawn into thin wires, so you can draw the metals into thin wires as much as possible, a thin wire. So the property of the metal which can be drawn into thin wires, we call it as ductility. Okay. So what is ductility? So ductility means, so ductile we call it as. So ductility means the property of the metal which can be drawn into thin wires. Okay, you can draw it into thin wires. So that we call it as ductility. Next, hardness. Generally metals are hard in nature. So the exceptions is like sodium and potassium. So these are the two softest metal. Okay, you can cut it with the knife. So which are the soft metals means sodium and potassium. So sodium, potassium, they are the soft metals. Other than that, generally metals are harder in nature. Next, conduction. Metals, they have free electrons. They are the good conductors. Silver and copper are the best conductors. They are the best conductor of heat and electricity. So they conduct electricity also. Lead is the least efficient heat conductor. So in metals, lead is the least one. Apart from that, all of them they conduct heat and electricity. So iron, bismuth, mercury, they are likewise poor conductors. So apart from lead, so these are also a poor conductor of electricity. Next, density. Metals are generally high density. They have weight. The density of iridium and osmium, so are the greatest, whereas lithium is the lowest. Okay. So they are metals, generally they have high density, but there is one metal like lithium, it is low density. Next, melting and boiling points. Metals, they are known for their high melting and boiling points. So they can withstand with high melting and boiling point. The tungsten is the highest out of melting point and silver is the lowest in boiling point. The next, alloy formation, they can combine with other metals to form or to create an alloy. So the homogeneous mixture or combination of metals and non-metals, so metals and metals to form an alloy. Okay. Next is sonorous nature. Metals are generally sonorous in nature. So when you hit by a solid object, they produces a rhythmic sound. So they produce a peculiar sound. That property is called as sonorous property. So these are some of the important aspects under the metals concept. Okay. So on that basis, the differences is given here. Difference in physical properties. So in exam, they may ask you the question like differentiate between the physical properties of metals and non-metals. So based on the above topics what we have learned now, we are able to draw the differences for metals and non-metals. We'll see metals are good conductor of heat, metals are bad conductor of heat. Then metals are good conductor of electricity, non-metals are bad conductor of electricity. Metals are malleable and they can be beaten into thin sheet. That property we call it as malleability. Metals are malleable, non-metals are non-malleable. Metals can be drawn into wires, we call it as ductility. Non-metals are non-ductile. Metals are sonorous in nature, non-metals are non-sonorous. Metals have high tensile strength due to the high attraction between molecules. Non-metals have low tensile strength due to low attraction between the molecules. Then metals have high density, non-metals have low density. So these are the differences between metals and non-metals in their physical aspects. Okay, so we'll move to the next topic. It is ionic compounds. So this is also one of the most important under the examination. Okay, so usually they ask regarding with the ionic compounds. We'll see physical nature. Ionic compounds are solid, hard, generally brittle in nature. So what are the properties of ionic compounds means? Ionic compounds are solid, hard and brittle in nature. Melting point, they have high melting and boiling point. Ionic compounds, they have high melting and boiling point. Next, solubility, they are soluble in water, insoluble in solvents such as kerosene and petrol. So ionic compounds are well soluble in water and non-soluble, or we can say it as insoluble in solvents like kerosene and petrol. Next, conduction of electricity. Ionic compounds conduct electricity in molten state or molten form, but not in solid state. So under solid state, ionic compounds do not conduct electricity. Why? Because solid state, the ions cannot move freely. When it is a molten state, the ions move, which also carries the electricity. Okay. Next is roasting. So roasting means the sulfide ores. Sulfides ores are converted into oxides by heating strongly in the presence of excess of air. This process is called roasting. In exam, they will ask you what is roasting or write a note on roasting. Okay, roast for which kind of ores the roasting is done? For sulfide ores. So roasting is done for sulfide ores where it converts into oxides by heating strongly in the presence of excess of oxygen. So this presence of oxygen or presence of air is very much essential. So roasting is done in excess of air or in excess of oxygen. Presence of excess of oxygen, the sulfides are going to be converted into oxides. An equation is given as an example: zinc sulfide plus oxygen, zinc oxide plus sulfur dioxide. Okay. Next, calcination. So what is calcination? So calcination is another topic. The carbonate ores are changed. So calcination is done for carbonate ores. Changed into oxides by heating strongly in limited supply of air. Okay. So calcination is done in limited supply of air for carbonate ores. The process we call it as calcination. In exam, they may ask you for differences also. Differentiate between roasting and calcination. So you have to answer that. Roasting is the process of heating the sulfide ores in excess of air is roasting. The process of eating of carbonate ores in limited supply of air, it is calcination. For example, zinc carbonate gives zinc oxide plus carbon dioxide. So this is also another topic under the chapter metals and non-metals. Then one more topic you have to concentrate more over this, it is prevention of corrosion. So prevention of corrosion, what is corrosion? So we know that metals, when they come in contact with the atmospheric conditions like air, moisture, acids, so generally they corrode, they lose their strength. How can you prevent that? So metals, the rusting of iron, they can be, means the corrosion can be prevented by painting, oiling, greasing, galvanizing, chrome plating, or anodizing, alloys. So these are all some of the methods to prevent corrosion. Okay, so corrosion is a process where metals exposed to the moisture or air or atmospheric condition, they loses their strength. So to prevent that, they undergo these all the methods. So galvanizing means galvanization is done for iron, particularly for iron steel. So iron from rusting, coating with the thin layer of zinc. So when they coat the metals with thin layer of zinc, that is called galvanization. Alloying means they mix two or more metals together to form a homogeneous mixture called as alloy. Examples like iron, steel. Iron mixed with small amount of carbon becomes hard and strong. Steel mixing with, so to obtain steel, iron plus nickel and chromium. So this is an alloy. Steel is an alloy of iron. Okay. So the mixture of iron, nickel and chromium forms the stainless steel. Then the brass. So brass is formed by the combination of copper and zinc. Bronze is formed by the combination of copper and tin. Lead, solder, we call it as solder, that is formed by the combination of lead and tin. Amalgam is one of the metal of mercury. Okay, so these are the very important aspects which has to be concentrated more under the chapter metals and non-metals. Okay, is it clear? So under metals and non-metal chapter, what are the important points to be remembered? It is, one is the physical aspects of metals, ionic compounds, and next is roasting and calcination. So we'll discuss the rest of the aspects in the next video. Till then, thank you.